Good morning. It's an early morning, and I'm here to share some thoughts on Lucid Us, on bringing light to places that have been dark in our lives. In particular, if you hear frustration this morning, it's because there is frustration this morning, but it's the frustration of finally breaking through, finally breaking free, finally breaking out, finally breaking off, all those things. What I'm seeing this morning is my resilience lies in walking my own path and not someone else's. Meaning, I have found, and I have seen, and others have seen, I have a resilience unlike, I'm not going to say anyone because I don't know your resilience, but I have a resilience, an ability to come back from the dead over and over and over and over. But there have been times when my resilience has been gone, it's disappeared. And I've sort of known what I'm about to say and what I just said, but today it is crystal fucking clear. I have a resilience that is unparalleled, at least in my experience, and I only have mine to go on. When I walk my path, meaning when I finally quit trying to force things that aren't part of my path, aren't part of my journey, aren't, the resilience is just naturally there. It's effusive, it's effulsive. I don't think that's a word, but I want to say it's effervescent. It's like the bubbling up, and it just happens like a natural spring inside of me, because all of me knows this is the time to live. This is the way to live. This is the path to live. This is me. Recently in my life, there have been hard things going on, and there have been times where something in me was like, this is not for you. This is not for you. I think I've mentioned that. There were times in my mother's passing where I was not super involved, and something in me was just like, this is not for you. It's just not. You have your intimate experience with your mother in the more than physical realm, and that is exactly what your path is. There's been other things happening with someone else in my life where I don't know them super well, but a couple of times I've heard they've just been really kind of negative and shitty about me when I'm not around. I kind of called them out on it. They're pissed, I'm just like, yeah, we're done. Like, yeah, keep your distance. He's like, keep your distance. I'm like, good idea. You keep yours, so I'll keep mine. I'm not the one mouthing off shit about you, so don't, you keep your mouth shut about me. Now, this morning I was thinking about that. That's not really how I'd like to handle it, but it's how I handled it, and it's gotten to me to a place where, and not just that one instance, but the resilience is coming back. Meaning, I may not have stood up for myself in the way I would most want to or like to, or maybe I'll choose to in the future, but it's the way I know how right now. And in standing up for myself over and over and over in the way I know how in this moment might not be the best, does not matter. Okay, why doesn't it matter? Because it does matter how we behave. It doesn't matter because if it's your best, and the universe knows energy, and it's like, that is the energy of someone being authentic. It is their absolute authentic best. Then that's enough. That is enough. The energy of my authentic best has to always be enough. Otherwise, we're screwed. We're all screwed. So, I've been doing my best to continue to keep walking my path in the way I feel called without trying to rationalize or understand or logicalize any of it. Because it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. And yet, something inside of me knows, it's like, this is the way back to life. Not their life or that life, but your life, the life you can't even see and don't even dare to dream of. Can't even imagine. Both the highs and the lows. Both the highs and the lows, the goods and the bads, the amazing and the disastrous, right? I don't believe any of us would walk forward into our lives, the lives that are waiting for us, because there are such immense moments of joy waiting, and there are such immense moments of sorrow, and we would take neither and just take the flat line. At least I would. I would take the flat line, but it's not happening. I am coming back to life. I am walking my authentic walk. I am standing for myself. I am seeing the ways I wish I was different, and I am loving every fucking one of those ways. I'm not trying to change them. I'm just like, yeah, I mean, I don't know, in some perfect world, maybe I would have handled that differently. I didn't. It was my best in the moment, things flying fast. I did what I could. Thank you. Thank you to me. Thank you to me. Thank you to the universe. Thank you to others who are playing out whatever role they're playing out in my drama. And I can see others are playing their dramas off of me, and I'm so glad that I can see. And the reason I can see is because I can see other people playing a role in my drama. This has allowed incredible freedom because I realize, okay, you are playing a role in my drama. Apparently I need that right now because I'm not able to create a different drama in this moment. This is so important because I am now free. When I see someone else playing their drama and trauma off of me, I say, no, thank you. That is yours. You may take that. I own none of it. Your drama and your trauma is not mine. Okay. Those are like the black and white. Yeah, we see it. We get it. We set those boundaries strong and firm. And we are all that. Okay. What about those places where, let's say it's with a child, because my children have been my most powerful teachers. And you don't really get to do the big, strong, I see it, I get it, I'm right, because that you understand the depth that could harm the other person, even if you are pretty sure there's a lot of rightness going on your side, from your perspective. I know, so grandiose, I love it. It's where I am. What do you do then? What do you do when the person is close enough to you that you still have to stand up for your path so that you can be resilient, so you can be effervescent, you can come back to life. You can be resonant with the energy of your journey and your soul and your path. Those don't sound right. Just be resonant with the energy of your journey. That is what sounds right. So let's just end it right with that word. I'm trying to be too clever. I'm thinking of a recent example, and what I did was I sat still for many days, meaning I didn't actually sit still. Energetically, I sat still, and I felt all I needed to feel, and it took 5 solid days of sitting with all I needed to feel, and those feelings were the very feelings I always, forever, and up until now, have run away from, have done anything and everything I could not to feel. I have shamed them, blamed them, run away from them, numbed them, name it. So I'm now able to, in this one relationship, sit with those feelings for days and nights, not sleeping. I had a lot of sleepless nights last week. That was hard. That's really hard when something has happened in your life that in this instance you can see is the other person resonant with their path. And yet in their resonance with their path, they're no longer going to be close with yours. not physically anyway. That is no small ask of any person in any situation forever and ever. Amen. Is it possible? Yes. Have I found the way? No. Am I finding it? Yes. And part of this rebirth for me, this resilience, this remembering, is allowing all the words that I've spoken over all the years that I know to be true, but haven't been able to live, breathe, actualize. The loss is making space for those. It's a big loss, so there's a lot of space. And somehow in the allowing and accepting of all my feelings, both the ones that people would deem negative, the ones that people would deem positive, the thoughts that people would deem mean and harsh, the thoughts that people would deem kind and generous. When I would be aware of them, I'd be like, yes, and I see that I'm thinking that, I see that I'm thinking that. I feel that I'm feeling this, I feel that I'm feeling that. And there were times in the past 10 days I haven't had a therapy appointment. I have to say there were times where I was desperate. I was like, I should just call my therapist. We're going to talk this out, or we're going to do EMDR. And something in me was like, why? Like, why are you making this it feels like an emergency. It feels like a tragedy. It feels like the end of the world. Yes, all of those things. But is it? Like, are you willing to just wait another day? What if you don't resolve this through therapy this time? What if you just don't resolve it? Just don't resolve it. Like, if there's enough love on both sides, then there's enough time and space to figure out all the figuring out that needs to happen. The end of any journey is so sacred. So sacred. But there are so many emotions that we're afraid of. So many emotions we misunderstand. So many emotions we judge. And it's almost like humility was a huge part of this last week. And it was almost like in the energetically kneeling down, at times just speaking whatever words needed to come out, at times just resting my head upon the ground and wordless, speechless, experiencing it. That is the birthplace of life, the womb of resilience and effervescence, but the ending doesn't come unless we know how to. And for me, it's literally and figuratively, energetically, emotionally, mentally bowing before whatever is happening, and just staying present with it and not holding on to any of what comes through, but not being oblivious to it either, like recognizing, oh, there's that, I recognize that, I think I've felt that before, oh, there's that, I recognize that, I wonder if that's from that story, oh, there's that, oh, there's that, oh, there's that. And I would say 85-90% of the last week was all the past. It was almost like I kind of identified seeing these emotions, I'd seen these beliefs, I'd seen these thoughts and feelings and stories. But there was this small fraction, like 10 to 15%, that kept surprising me. But it would be because I wasn't getting caught on any of the past and just letting it all be, being humble before what I am in this moment. There were moments where something brand new would skitter across my skin or flit through my mind, and I'd be like, oh, what was that? Like, I don't remember that. I don't know if I've seen that. I don't know if I've experienced that or thought that, or I don't know if I've been able to believe those words I said, but I think I just did. I've often said that grief and sorrow, I think, are the most beautiful emotions. And I know people are probably like, but what about joy and love? I don't know, for me, those are easy. Well, in the way that they're not. I don't know how to describe it, but grief and sorrow are what make room for life, for joy and for love. And without the ability to grieve and to sorrow, like every breath of my life, then there's no birthplace for joy. Like every breath, it's almost like I inhale sorrow, I exhale joy. I inhale the sorrows of life, I exhale the joys of living. I inhale the sorrows of life, I exhale the joys of living. And for me, that's resilience. I don't know. There's no guarantee of my next inhale. Never. And I don't know what it will bring. I've had so many surprises in my life I can't even fathom. But if I can inhale, if I dare to inhale, I certainly am a being that has amazing abilities of transformation to exhale the joy of being alive and living. So my resilience this morning is clarity, is seeing how resilience is so intimately tied to walking in resonance with our journey, in resonance with whatever words you want to put in there. But if you're not in resonance, it won't happen. It can't happen. The effervescence is gone. It's not able to rise to the false energy of that moment. There's no regeneration that can happen through that solidified, unauthentic energy, behaviors, thoughts, feelings. When I say unauthentic, I'm not saying inauthentic. I think there have been times when I was unauthentic in that I didn't really know I wasn't being authentic. I thought I was trying to be authentic. But it wasn't. It was unauthentic. And there are many times when I have been, and I might be in the future, where I am trying to be authentic. A lot of times it's because I don't really see and understand my journey. There are so many things that only appear each day, and so it's easy to be unauthentic to ourselves and our journey. Because we don't always know, and we may be very innocent in our attempt to be authentic. But in those moments where you realize, it's like you found the golden thread again, the golden thread of your life. And you're like, oh, it's like a huge relief. It's like, there you are. I thought I'd lost you. I haven't seen you for so long. I've been looking everywhere, trying all kinds of things. And then there's that moment where you're like, yes, this is the path. This is the way. I found it. this, and you feel and remember that resonance again, and the effervescence. And you know you're coming back to life. That your resilience is like exploding because you made it. You found your way right back to this golden moment of now. Being and seeing and doing exactly who you are in this moment. And nothing is greater than exactly how I am in this moment. Exactly how you are in this moment. Because there can be nothing greater. What I'm talking about isn't bringing consciousness into this moment. I do that all the time with meditation, and that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the moment where not just your mind is aware, but your mind is aligned with your heart. Your heart is aligned with your gut. Your gut is aligned with your feet. And all of them are aligned and resonant and present with the golden thread of your life. That's what I'm speaking about. And that is rare, which makes it priceless, which makes it priceless. I don't know if I should call this the golden thread of resilience or the effervescence of rebirth. Or just hang in there. Hang in there. Keep being, and you will find your way. You will find your way. Your way. I recently sent a card to a friend that's going through some tough times, and I remember underlining the word your, hoping the message cut across, like, you can't find any other way but your way. I've been working on my puzzle. I think I'll do another podcast again with it so you guys can see how far I've come. It was funny, I had all these blocks of pieces that didn't go anywhere. But I just didn't matter what I did. And then literally in a 10-minute session, I spun them and put them all together in this big, huge thing. And I was like, how the hell have I been staring at these chunks for weeks, if not months, and I couldn't see how to put them together. And then suddenly in 10 minutes, there was a big, huge chunk in the middle of the puzzle. The middle of the puzzle was put together. I don't know, maybe the middle's easier than the edges, I don't know, but... And I just keep reminding, my puzzle has been so great for me to slow down, keep trying pieces, just keep showing up. Sometimes I walk in and I say, find one piece. Or I say, let's see. I actually don't say that. I say, let's see if I can find one piece. And then often, for some reason, you find a piece, and I often say, great, and I walk out. Like, it literally just am doing what I'm asking myself to do, which is enough. It's like, look, you can put 1,000-piece puzzle together, one piece at a time. I'm not counting days, I should say this way. I'm not counting how many days it's going to take me. I don't care. I'm here to learn. I'm here to learn, period. Here to learn, period. All of it. I know at times I say we're just here to experience. I absolutely believe that. I just don't really know if you can, I think there's just the natural learning or evolution that happens through experience. We don't have to learn. It's just a natural part of the process of experience. And there's so many definitions and synonyms of learn, you know. Learning is seen, learning is being, learning is feeling, learning is witnessing, learning is acknowledging, learning is changing, transforming, learning is, it's just, I think everything can be a synonym for learn. Learning is loving, learning is dying, learning is living. Learning is sorrow, learning is joy. So, the golden thread of resilience, always flowing through our lives. I've said it before, I'm going to say it again. I was saying it just the other day when I was in India, northern part of India. We had a driver helping us get through the mountains, blah, 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 blah. And we come upon this snafu. It's taking us hours to try to resolve, and he can tell we're all getting, a little irritated, maybe a lot irritated. And it does seem quite ridiculous to us that we can't get anybody to sign this piece of paper that we need signed so we can get through this precinct or area. Anyway, and he just kept looking at us. And it was sincere, it was authentic. And he would bobble his head as they do in India, which is so endearing to me. I think we should use it more. Not trying to culturally appropriate, just saying it's really, really endearing to me. He would bobble his head from shoulder to shoulder, and he'd say, "It is okay. Everything works out in the end. And if it has not worked out, it is not the end." And I remember when he said that the first time, I stared at him like, I do not know if I've ever heard wiser words in my entire life. And he just smiled, and we went on. And of course everything worked out. And everything does work out and will work out. And that's what I told myself the whole last week. Just kept telling myself, everything works out in the end. And if it has not worked out, it is not the end. And those words kept me going. Because I was like, this is not working out, it's getting worse. This is not working out, this is getting worse, meaning nothing had actually happened in the physical realm. I'm getting worse inside. And I just kept telling myself, if it has not worked out, it is not the end. I could just hear his voice and see the smile in his eyes and see the bubble from shoulder to shoulder of his head. And I just kept saying, he's right, he's right, he's right, he's right, he's right, he's right. Like, it is not the end. It is not the end. And they were talking about, I may die like this. That is fine. Then that will be the end. But it is not the end. It is not the end. Resilience, effervescence, the golden thread. Inhale the sorrows, exhale the joys. Inhale the sorrows of life. Exhale the joys of living. We are given each breath. Each inhale is literally a gift from life. There is no guarantee. Every inhale is a gift from life. Inhale, whatever gift is being offered. Every exhale is our gift back to life. We inhale the gift of life, we exhale the joy of living. May you all find a flow. Maybe it's gentle, maybe it's rapid, but a flow that leads you back to the resonance of mind, heart, gut, journey. Mind, heart, gut,